All right, we're recording.
Okay, we're recording. Let's go.
Ready. Who's
It
ready?
didn't pick up.
Oh.
But
I'm so ready.
it just said in unison for nothing.
Who's ready?
I'm ready. It's like SpongeBob SquarePants.
There's like an AJR song that starts with that clip.
Really?
On the topic of songs, but not AJR. I'm not going to talk about
Edward,
AJR.
do you like music?
I listen to so much music.
Do you listen to so much music?
The volume of music I consume is kind of ridiculous.
That's yeah, you do listen to quite a few
Yeah.
albums. Something that I think I should bring up before we start going into this is I sent you an album to listen to and you've never listened to it.
Which one was it?
Darren Chris's album.
It might be on my list. I actually don't know.
It's called Masquerade.
I will check. I might have just for context, and we'll get back to this later. I do album reviews on my personal Instagram, which if you dear listeners don't know what my personal Instagram is, you're not gonna find it.
Which is too bad.
Yeah, too bad for you. You miss. Do you actually read my album reviews, Claire?
Sometimes when they come up on my feed.
And
Instagram has started tailoring it to me where sometimes I just skip over them, not on purpose, just because like I don't realize that it's you and not some like random Instagram post.
That's very fair.
That it stopped showing me them.
I will put Masquerade by Darren Criss on there.
Yippee!
See, because the thing is, I don't actually write the reviews for other people. It's more of just like a public diary for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do album reviews on my Instagram, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But in the meantime, how has music affected your life, Claire?
I think it's a really fun thing to play with. I listen to a lot of music just when I'm doing stuff. Like, I've learned that it's really difficult for me to do things if I don't have music in my ears at all times for some reason. So, like, when I'm doing anything, I always have to listen to something. But I like using it to sort of think about my, like, emotions and how I reflect on, situations in my life. Something that I've been doing a lot recently is thinking about how I would, like, direct a short film that goes along with a song.
Ah, that's interesting.
Like, almost, like, making a music video, basically. But it's, like...
That's like the one part of directing and writing that really appeals to me is I get to choose all the songs for a show.
It's just, I have all these ideas when I'm listening to music. I always have. There was like this song that they used in a GoPro commercial once, and every time I listen to it, I have all these ideas of GoPro commercials that I could make.
I used to come up with music videos in my head when I was listening to songs.
Yeah. But it's just this thing that really, really, I would totally act on it, and I would do all these things if I could, if I had the time, if I had the budget, if I had the equipment. But, yeah.
I mean, you might in the future.
That's the hope.
You are going to film school?
Drama major to work on stuff. But, you know, it all leads to something in the end. But, yeah.
I'm like, I think I classify as a full-on musician. Mm-hmm. I'm a singer, I'm a drummer in a band, I play piano. I've been doing music, like, as a thing for, like, probably 10 years or more at this point.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I really love performing, and I love performing music more than a lot of things, because you get to just, like, hold the audience like a small puppy in the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's like if math was cool.
If math was cool.
I love rhythm. I love lyricism, though I myself am a bad poet. And yeah, I absolutely adore music. I also use it to get through my everyday.
Do you do music lessons when you were a kid?
So I started playing piano I think 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Then I joined a choir for about 5 years. I quit that because of scheduling constraints.
Right.
But when I quit the choir, I started taking private voice lessons.
Okay.
And then unrelated to that, in the 7th grade, I started taking drum lessons, and eventually I joined a band.
Nice. Yeah, when I was, like, really little, I did piano lessons until roughly when I went into high school, because I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Actually, I think I did piano the first year of high school, and then I quit. Because I just didn't practice anymore, and I didn't like it anymore, so I just quit.
See, I've
But,
learned fun
yeah,
fact about
I
piano.
did
There's
voice
a
lessons too.
there is a circular relationship between practicing and enjoyment.
Yeah.
Where actually, if you go and practice more, you'll enjoy piano more. Because I thought I hated piano until I started practicing.
I didn't like practicing.
I didn't like practicing, but when I started practicing, I actually started enjoying practicing.
Maybe it's
piano.
because you learn how to actually play the piano, and then it makes it more fun to practice because you're actually playing music.
Playing pop pieces also makes piano way more fun because you know how a song's supposed to sound.
No, that actually made me more frustrated because I couldn't get it to sound right.
See, I love building myself into a song.
I played a lot of Taylor Swift on the piano.
I'll get into my opinions on Taylor Swift later in the episode.
It's like when I was little, I really liked Taylor Swift. So
All right. So that's when you were little. We talked about how music affects your life. Claire, what's your favorite album of all time?
I think currently my favorite album.
Yeah, let's go currently because all time's
is-
tough.
It's been the same one for a while, and it's The New Abnormal by The Strokes.
I've heard of the Strokes. I've heard a lot of negative stereotypes associated with them. I have not actually listened to them though.
I really, really like that album specifically. I can listen to the whole thing without skipping a song, which is something that I look for a lot in albums, because that's something that ends up happening a lot, is I'll like, oh, I like all these songs. Like, there's...
That's actually why I started doing the reviews.
Yeah?
Is because it would force me to listen to an entire thing without skipping.
See, because I listened to Short and Sweet, Sabrina Carpenter's album, just because like it's good music, but like there's a couple things on here that I will always skip over because I just can't
That's fair.
listen to them. I don't know why. It's not that I don't like them, it's just it's not my favorite thing.
So I'm gonna talk about two because I've got a favorite album of all time that just always holds the spot, and then I've got a favorite album right now.
Okay.
My favorite album of all time is A War on Everything by the Glorious Sons.
Okay.
It's like it's a rock album. And it's mainly just because I have a lot of personal attachment to it and a lot of association with it. It's got really nice writing, some really fun songs, and is overall just really like listenable is a good way to put it. Like it's not hard to listen to. It's not hard to just throw on.
Right.
And then currently my favorite album is No Hands by Joey Valence and Bray. And that one I'm going to explain all the words I use in just a sec. It is a nerdcore rap album that it very much emulates the style of 90s hardcore rap on the East Coast. So nerdcore means the lyrics are nerdy. They have an entire song. It's my favorite song off the album called Omnitrix, which is the fun little watch from Ben 10. Mm-hmm. And then their rap is very much, it's in the style of like Beastie Boys.
Ooh.
But it's all like they're all like they're new-ish to the scene. They're like making their music now, so it's really interesting to hear somebody bringing that style back in the 2020s. It's a really fun album, and it doesn't take itself too seriously.
That's so fun.
Yeah. So those are my two favorite albums right now. To that extent, Claire, what is your favorite band?
Well, I don't know if I actually have a favorite band. Like,
You can have a favorite artist as well. That counts.
My favorite artist
Is Darren Criss.
is Darren Criss or Britney Spears.
And my favorite band is Glee Cast.
No, my favorite, like, I think I really like Darren Criss just because he has a really nice voice.
That's fair.
So it's really easy to listen to his stuff.
Does he do a lot of originals or mostly covers?
No, he does, like, mostly originals.
Nice.
He writes a lot of his music. But, like, my favorite song is, well, okay. My favorite, I have two top songs that I really like. And one, theoretically, is because he did a cover of it
On Glee.
on Glee, and it's the song Cough Syrup, originally by Young the Giant.
I'm not familiar, but
It's a really good song, but he did a cover of it, and it was so good, and it is like widely regarded as the best Glee cover.
is it like a fun upbeat song or like a sad?
No, it's like a sad song. I listen to the original now just because it's just as good as the Darren Criss one, but on occasion when I'm feeling like in a Darren Criss mood, I toss on that one.
When I'm feeling Chrissy.
But my other favorite song is Lucky by Britney Spears. Just because it's like, it's a very kind of upbeat song, but it has a really kind of sad undertone to the lyrics.
I get that, yeah.
So that's my favorite song. I don't really have any deep or technical
Don't worry, I'll go
reason.
deep.
So we'll give Edward the
So my two favorite bands, I already talked about one of them. They're the Glorious Sons. They're a rock group from, I think, Ontario. But I really love them because they have like really personal lyrical writing. They've very much got good like driving fast down a road with your windows down kind of sound to them. And yeah, I've seen them live. They're a really good show to watch, and they've been with me a lot of my time on this globe. And they've like their music has helped me through a lot, and it's something I listen to with my brother as well. And then my other one for very similar reasons is the Tragically Hip, who are or were, because they're not making music anymore, a band from Kingston, Ontario. They're one of the I think widely regarded as one of the best Canadian bands, specifically for their lyrical writing from the dearly departed Gord Downie, who is a absolutely fantastic poet. And an incredibly gifted songwriter, but also they've got like really fun guitar parts, and overall they've got a really good sound to them, and it just really goes to show how much they enjoyed making music with each other. And then I've got a favorite song for each of them. Claire, are you okay?
Yeah. I was just thinking because I realized that I do have like kind of a favorite band.
We can go back to you.
Yeah, we'll go back after.
So my favorite Glorious Sons song is called "Closer to the Sky." And it's a single off the album I talked about, A War on Everything. And it was very much my teenage angst anthem. It was what I played whenever I was feeling sad and teenagery. But it's got a really interesting sort of like laid back sound to it. It's got a really positive message and some very like heartfelt lyrics to it. And then from the Tragically Hip, my favorite song of theirs is called Fireworks. It's I have a couple songs where it's like, because with like dating or whatever, you start to associate certain songs with certain people.
Yeah.
Not trying to go to that. There are a couple of songs in my brain that are labeled as like universal love songs,
right,
where they mean something to me, not necessarily something about another person.
Right.
And Fireworks is one of those songs. I think it is like honestly like the most accurate representation of what it feels like to be at least to me, what it feels like to be somebody falling for somebody else.
Okay.
It's super heartfelt, and it's got like a really fun like guitar sound to it. And yeah, those are my favorite songs by both those bands.
That's fun. So I was sitting here and I was thinking, I was like, do I have a favorite band? And I kind of do, right? I really like Guns N' Roses.
I never expected that.
Yeah, it's a sentimental thing for me, because when I was younger, my parents had like, okay, so there's this I don't know what it is, but it was a thing that made like lullaby versions of songs. So as I would go to sleep at night until I was like 11, I would listen to like instrumental versions of Guns N' Roses songs.
Was it like Sweet Child of Mine that you're thinking of, or like,
yeah,
Welcome to the Jungle?
No, it was like,
I do really enjoy Guns N' Roses. That's just a wild thing to hear. Yeah, when I was going to sleep as a kid, I listened to For Whom the Bell Tolls that's by Metallica, right?
It was
I'll get flamed if I don't.
It was Rockabye Baby, lullaby renditions of Guns N' Roses.
That's awesome.
And it was just like,
I need to figure out For Whom the Bell Tolls is by, because yeah, it is by Metallica.
I'll just
I'm
play
genius.
it for you. But it was like, it was just like that, and it was just the tunes of like
That's awesome.
But it was, and I kind of, it ingrained in my mind. And when I got older, like my dad would play the songs for me and stuff, and I really, really liked them. My favorite one of their songs is November Rain.
I don't listen to a lot of GNR. I'm mainly like the hits for them. But I really do enjoy. I really enjoy their cover of "Live and Let Die."
Ooh, yeah.
And I also really enjoy "Sweet Child of Mine." Mm-hmm. I really like the bridge to "Sweet Child of Mine," like the "Where do we go now?" Yeah, so
they have a lot of good music. But yeah,
and a lot. Do they still make music? I know they did in like the early aughts.
Don't think so.
Probably for
Don't
the best.
don't
Axl
quote
Rose
me
has
on
kind of
that.
gone off the rails.
Yeah.
All right, we've reached the section in the thing where I'm going to talk about my more recent endeavors with music. And I'm going to start that off by explaining a little bit more about my personal Instagram that you guys are never going to find.
Unless you know Edward personally.
Then you're cool. And basically, so early on this year, I was feeling woefully understimulated mentally. And I was talking to my drum teacher, and he had just given me a bunch of albums to listen to for like metal music.
And you needed like some sort of...
So then I put them in a list. And I'm like, this time I'm actually going to go through and listen to all the albums he tells me to, because
Right.
oftentimes I would forget. And then I was like listening to them, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I kind of vibe with this. And I was like taking my thoughts, like writing my thoughts down on them, just so I could keep my brain organized. So then I was like, I can stick with this. So then I went to other people, and I was like, hey, give me albums to listen to. I'm trying to expand my musical tastes.
And then he didn't listen to my suggestions.
I'm sorry, I get so many, and my list is so long.
He wrote it down now, so
Yeah.
he might actually listen to it now.
It's at the bottom of the list. It'll be a while.
Nuts.
But yeah, so then I started building out this list, and I started doing more, and I was like, you know what, I love sharing my music with people, and I love helping somebody discover something they didn't know they would like. So then one day I was like, I went onto my Instagram account where I didn't post, and I was like, post a story, would y'all listen, or would y'all read if I do album reviews? And there was a lot of people who said yes. So then I just started posting as I listened.
I didn't answer. I was
Yeah.
just like, well, Edward's going to start doing this now.
If the majority vote was no, I genuinely wasn't.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, every day on my trains that ride to school, I listen to an album, and then every day on my trains that ride home, I listen to an album.
Do you have Spotify or Apple Music?
I use Spotify
Okay.
because I'm awesome.
Yeah, because it would be a lot harder to do this if you didn't have like a streaming platform and you had to buy all the
I go
music.
buy every CD I listen to. I'm in so much CD debt.
Yeah, they're like $30.
Well, yeah, because you got to like go burn them onto a disc.
And you need a CD player.
Really?
You should carry around a boombox.
I would look like such a jerk.
I think it would be funny.
I feel
Next-
like you could
next
pull off
Halloween.
carrying around a boombox.
What does that mean?
You just have more presence than I do.
Well, whose fault is that?
You stroll with more confidence.
That's just because people hype me up too much.
See, people don't hype me up, and I still am this confident.
How do we hype you up, Edward?
I don't know. I said people don't, so. You know who hyped me up? All the listeners who made me win the competition on last episode.
Oh my god.
Assuming that was last episode.
That was last episode. Why do people like Edward so much?
Comment down below how I'm so much cooler than Claire. And we'll forget about the fact that I won because there were 2 tied votes.
I'm still upset about it.
I'm not.
It was like last week, and I'm still upset about it.
It's been a whole week and you're still yelling about this.
I'm still bitter.
Alright, anyway, it's time for me to deliver my most controversial music taste.
Go on,
You
Edward.
guys can flame me in the comments. Taylor Swift is not a very good musician.
Yes.
And I don't think I think she's been spinning her wheels creatively for a very long time. Because the thing is, in my opinion, when you become so popular that you're like the most popular musician, which she isn't actually. She's
not.
number 2 on Spotify.
Wait, who's the first one?
The Weeknd,
Why?
because his music's everywhere,
Okay.
and his fans aren't rabid dogs.
Okay. Does he have like a big following like Taylor Swift does or no?
I think it's less that he has a big following and more that he's just a massive hit maker.
Okay.
Like his songs just wind up everywhere because he's such a good songwriter. Whereas like
Alright.
when did you hear a song from the Tortured Poets department playing on the radio?
I don't think I've actually heard any of that album.
Me neither. This is my thing about Taylor Swift. In her day, in her era, for lack of a better term, she was she was the top of the game. But the problem is your sound then becomes a bass line. And I think she hasn't deviated from that line. She's kind of switched genres into this like sad, folky singer-songwriter stuff. But it's not risking anything. It's not trying anything, which means to me it sounds boring.
Right.
Also, oh my god, all of her albums are so long.
Yeah.
I have read Taylor's version on my list. It is 2 hours long. Most albums are like 45 minutes tops.
How do you even get like an album to be that long. Like, she has to.
Well, so
she has a
because like half of the album or whatever is re-released stuff,
right.
So it's like 1 hour long album
So
plus
she
an
didn't-
extra hour of new content.
Right, so she didn't really have to write anything, and then she
Yeah.
could write more.
Yeah. Are you looking at the top hits on Spotify right now?
Yeah, I'm
What
just
what do we
looking at the
have?
top hits.
Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Bad Bunny, Billie Eilish, Gracie Abrams. I don't know who that is.
She's
Kendrick
really
Lamar.
popular right now.
Bruno Mars is kind of on a roll right now, apparently.
Yeah, what's that about?
I mean, he is a very talented songwriter,
Oh,
and he's a
there's
good
The
producer.
Weeknd. Chapel Roan. Sabrina Carpenter, of course. But yeah.
But yeah, so fun fact: 2024 was a crazy year for music.
Yeah.
Like,
you think?
unironically, I consume a couple music reviewers. Not Anthony Fantano. For those of you who know he is, I think he's dumb. But no, 2024 has been because if you think about it, think about what we got in 2024. You got Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter. That was her breakout album. You got Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess by Chapel Roan. That was a breakout album.
Mm-hmm.
You got Brat by Charlie XCX. That was a career-defining album.
Yeah.
You got the Kendrick Drake beef.
Don't know what that was.
That was very big in the rap community.
Okay.
You got some other really big rap projects that I don't personally know about and I'm not qualified to speak on.
Okay.
What else did we get? There's like a new Pearl Jam album from this year.
What's that?
Pearl Jam?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who Pearl Jam are?
Mm-mm.
Have you ever heard Even Flow? Jeremy? Daughter? Yellow Ledbetter? They were really big in the grunge era.
I don't think
But
so.
then they released an album this year that like got like a couple Grammy nominations.
Interesting.
Like this has been a absolutely wild year for music, and there's been so much stuff released, and a lot of it was really good.
I don't really pay attention to the music sphere.
We also got Post Malone's country album this year.
Post Malone. Sorry. My country album came out this year.
You released a country album? Oh yeah, you did release a country album this year.
It's on Spotify. Go stream it now.
Yeah. That'll be a reference for people who listen to last episode.
I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, this has been a really cool year for music, and it's been a really cool year for me musically because I've got to like explore and expand my tastes.
That's fun. Well, I mean, when you give yourself the permission when you give yourself a challenge, right?
Yeah.
It kind of makes you do all these things. Like, I chose that I was going to read 25 books in 2025. So now I have to read all these books.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. I also decided that I'm going to listen.
Guys, Claire just pulled up her phone and it was our podcast.
Yeah.
Don't know what that's about.
It's because I had it open on Spotify. But basically, I made a Letterboxd account in the hopes that I'm going to watch, like...
You're going to work through your movie list?
I'm going to work through my movie list and watch 100 different movies this year.
That's awesome. Because, yeah, like, I started doing album reviews because musically I was kind of in a rut. I hadn't really explored much. But then I've listened to some of the weirdest albums I've ever listened to, and some of them were really good.
Yeah.
And frankly, some of them sucked. And a lot of them were in the middle.
Like, I feel like I should expand my music taste a little bit more because I've been listening to the same, like, 12 songs and they're getting kind of boring.
I'll put you on the metal.
Oh, no.
What is it? I listened to an album in, like, September. It is, I think it's Norwegian death jazz, which is extreme metal, and normally extreme metal has 3 guitars. They took out 1 guitar and put in a saxophone.
Ooh.
And it is not terribly good, but it's really interesting, and they've got a couple songs that are like, hell yeah.
See, I just find it really difficult to, like, find music that I like. Because there's nothing that, like, there's no genre of music that I like, per se. It's just, it's a type of song.
So the key there
It's like...
is stop worrying about liking music. Because if you only worry about listening to music you like, you'll stop exploring new music. And if you're okay with that, more power to you.
See, but I do explore music, and I try and find other things that, like, I can listen to and I can...
But, like, I thought I was going to hate Chapel Roan's album. I won't lie. Mm-hmm. And I didn't. Was it the best thing on earth? No. Was it interesting and pretty fun? Absolutely. Whereas like I didn't like Car Seat Headrest at all. But it wasn't. But like I'm still glad I listened to it because now I know.
Lots of people like car seat headrest. Oh my gosh! Speaking of music, when I was in Ireland, I went to the Rock and Roll Museum.
How was that?
It was interesting. I got to see a bunch of stuff about U2 because
They're the most famous Irish band.
yeah, and they use the studios at the museum.
That's cool.
Because half the reason it's a museum is because that's where like big bands will go and record.
Did they
stuff.
record the Joshua Tree there?
Yes,
That's actually really sick.
I think that's
a good
the
album.
one that they recorded there. But yeah, it was really interesting, and I didn't learn that much because it was the same museum that I went to when I was 11, and then I went back when I was like 16. So
what you need to do now is listen to U2.
I do listen to U2.
U2 is a good band.
I listen to it because I listen to a lot of music that my dad listens to. That's like half the reason.
That's a good place to get music.
That's half the way I listen to music is I listen to what my dad listens to. If I listened to what my mom listened to, I would listen to Disney music all the time, which I also do, and Glee music. So really my music taste is an amalgamation of my parents.
Do you know what I listened to recently that I was like honestly surprised by how much I didn't hate?
What?
BTS.
Really?
I listened to Wings by BTS, and it's like, once again, it was not my favorite thing ever.
Of course.
But I was genuinely surprised by how much I enjoyed it and how sort of like how much more interesting it was than I ever thought. So that's like my biggest thing. I thought BTS was dumb and I would hate it, but I didn't. So go explore more.
Try my best. People don't tell me to listen to music though, so.
You can just start following every album I reviewed.
Edward, that's too many.
Follow in the footsteps, Claire. There's only 127 so far.
Too many. Too many.
Well, actually, there's 128. I haven't posted one of them.
Jeez, Edward, better get on that. Come on.
You're right. What
How
a
many
shameful
do you
person.
have on your list that you have to go through?
Ooh, this will be one of the first times I've read out the list live. All right, we got Tower of Power, which I think is a funk album. AJJ, People Who Eat People,
Oh,
or something along the lines.
interesting.
Sly and the Family Stone, James Brown, Taylor Swift, Red, specifically Taylor's version. Hero Quest Genesis by Steve Aoki.
Ooh.
Sometimes I just have bands too, and I go find one of their albums. Which
Okay.
for that I've got The National,
Ooh.
or Alice's Cafe by Arlo Guthrie, Something by the Gorillaz,
Okay.
The Bends by Radiohead, Something by Post Malone, Outlier by 12 Foot Ninja.
Interesting.
I don't even know what I was meant to write here, but it's by Hella. Nevermind by Nirvana, Goddess Deluxe by, I know it's not pronounced Laufey, but I don't know how it is
Lofi?
technically. Lofi? Don't kill me. The newest Mitski album, not looking forward to that.
Okay.
The Gift, a tribute to Ian Tyson. Something by Johnny Cash, something by Frankie Valli, something by The Temptations, Hosier by Hosier, Evelyn, another Post Malone album. I really like Post Malone, guys. A Long Way From Your Heart by Turnpike Troubadours, something by Bobby McFerrin, something by Tears for Fears, F sharp, A sharp, Infinity.
That was a long time ago, but I just
Something by
for
the Red Hot Chili Peppers, The Slow Rush by Tame Impala, A Room with a View of More Rooms, Masquerade by Darren Criss,
yay!
and then the Hades Town soundtrack.
How did you add another
Someday.
one while we were sitting here?
And an album by the Smalls.
He added like two more while we
No,
were
those
just
have been
sitting
at the
here.
those sit at the bottom of the list because they both have contingencies.
He doesn't want to listen to them.
Hadestown is a weird length because like a 2-hour album I can do a full day on.
Right.
Oh, like a 1-hour album I can do a half day on. Hadestown's like an hour and a half. So it puts me at a weird length for actually reviewing it. And then the Smalls, I want to listen to them. The problem is, their album is mixed so terribly that it like I would have to crank my headphones up to max volume. So I'm waiting for a day I can like sit in my room and put it on like my Bluetooth speaker,
Okay.
and like I
makes
have
sense.
that kind of energy in my head.
That's fun.
Yeah, Claire, do you have any other music you want to talk about?
I don't know. There's this thing
Because if not, I'm gonna give the listeners an album to listen to.
something that I really like to do is I'm a movies person,
Yeah.
and I have no good reason for it, but I'm a movies person.
Are you a movie soundtrack bro?
I love movie soundtracks. Like, to the point, I have an instrumentals playlist.
Yeah.
I love listening to just songs from movies, just when I'm doing stuff.
That's fair.
It's so much better than just regular instrumentals.
Well, because they do have more of a purpose to
It
them.
has emotion, and I love the emotion in music.
That's fair.
That's something that I hold.
I want to quickly shout out an album
Very
that I don't
tightly,
think
too.
anyone will expect from me. Born to Die Deluxe by Lana Del Rey it's actually really good. She's a really interesting songwriter.
She's in the water.
That one also has Summertime Sadness on it, which is like
Nobody's son, nobody's daughter. Sorry.
yeah. It's really interesting, and I think it's a good thing for people to go listen to if you want to sort of like broaden your taste on what pop was like in the 2010s.
You think, Edward?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Using my phone to call all the fans. I mean, to receive all the calls from the fans last episode drained my battery. Anyway,
And
Edward.
we're gonna polish this episode off with a quiz, guys, on what band we both are most like.
See, Edward, I've always wanted to know what band I was most like.
I think it's gonna be Guns N' Roses.
Do you think that'll be on this list?
Maybe. We'll see. This is from August 22nd, 2019.
The Beatles will definitely be here.
All right, what was your childhood like? Fun?
Different.
Sad?
Cool.
I low-key had a pretty cool childhood.
Uh,
You don't have to say your answer out loud if you don't
I'll
want to.
say fun. I had a lot of fun. We went to Disney a lot.
Choose a color.
Did a lot of things.
We got green, but like an ocean.
Oh, they don't have my favorite color on here.
Or like blue, but like an ocean. Green, but like it's a close-up of a plant.
Black, but it's like sand particles.
Red, but it's like a bunch of little hearts on a piece of red paper. Pink and blue?
Pink and blue.
And purple, but it's
purple.
weird. I'm gonna
I'm-
choose green.
They don't have my favorite color, yellow, which isn't actually my favorite color, but I just tell people this, so I'm picking my real favorite color.
Choose an activity. Rock climbing. Skiing. Bowling.
Bowling, reading, playing guitar,
Or swimming.
or just standing in a
Or standing in a
body
pool
of
and
water.
looking to your left. I'm gonna go more broad and say playing music, which I actually really do enjoy
I'm gonna
doing.
say reading because I've really been enjoying reading.
Sometimes I
lately.
sit down at my piano, I'll pull up like the chords for a pop song, and I'll just sing along to it as I play.
That's so fun for you.
Choose a name.
Amy, Angus, Sophie, Robert, Joey.
Or Chris.
Don't ask me why I asked you to just read out that one.
I like Robert. Bobby. Robbie.
Angus. That's gonna get me.
I'm
some
amazed you
weird.
didn't pick Chris.
Chris.
What's your favorite music
It's not
genre?
spelled the right way.
Heavy metal,
Pop.
rock,
Alternative.
punk.
All music.
I have to say all music now, right?
Yeah, I picked pop just because it's the one I listen to.
I got Green Day.
What about the Beatles? Oh my god, I also love the Beatles. I always forget about the Beatles until I'm like actually listening to them.
Green Day. I've been through some stuff and I've grown from that. You enjoy being a little different, and you're no stranger to hard work.
You might be shy at first, but you're also a bit of a rebel. You're outgoing and enjoy the spotlight. You probably have tons of friends. Nuts.
Speaking of which, before we end this off, I want to say one more thing about
on.
music.
Yeah.
Don't actually ever let anyone talk bad about the Beatles, because the thing is, even if you don't like the Beatles, like how they sound, you have to acknowledge that they have actually defined like the last 50 years of music.
I love the Beatles.
Like, I'm gonna
so
go find
much.
something.
Like honestly,
I want to. Was it?
I always kind of forget about them until they like I'm reminded, but I forget how much I love them. Like currently I have one song that I listen to a lot, and it's the Beatles song In My Life.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's so good.
Because like, I just remember that one time. I got in an argument with a bunch of people on a theatrical Discord. Where they were trying to argue that ABBA was better than the Beatles,
No.
and that is factually false.
It-
So I've quickly found a little list. I'm going to give you 10 innovations, the Beatles innovations that changed music.
All right, go on.
So the first one was music videos.
Ooh, wait, actually?
Although early jazz artists created short music film performances of their songs, and Elvis filmed unique settings of his songs that were parts of movies, the Beatles were the pioneers of marrying the two ideas into a concept we now know as the music video.
Huh.
A short standalone film of a musical act presenting a current song that may or may not be a live performance.
That's cool.
Their second was concept albums.
Uh-huh.
So for those of you who don't know, concept albums are an album built around one theme idea or concept.
Right.
Prior to 1966, popular music acts went into the recording studio in order to create a stack of singles. These singles were first released individually by the record company and then again in a few months as part of a longer album. Typically, the band had no input on which songs went on the album. The Beatles released the industry's first concept album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. The idea behind Sgt. Pepper's was the Beatles were playing the part of another band given a concert in the park, and all of their songs on the album were part of the outdoor affair.
Oh, that's actually so cool.
Stadium concert venues. That one goes without saying.
Really?
Self-contained record label.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I guess apparently they made their own record label. Live global television broadcasts.
Uh-huh.
Chart success. I want to read this one. Although many different musical acts hold variously scattered chart-topping market successes, no specific artist has ever come close to the nearly inexplicable global phenomenon the Beatles enjoyed in the spring of 1964.
Mm-hmm.
The Beatles, on March 21st, the Beatles held number 1, 2, and 3 on the Billboard's Hot 100 for a total of 7 songs in that week's poll. On March 28th, they held 1, 2, 3, and 4, 10 songs in all on the week. And on April 4th, they held number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for a total of 12 songs on the top 100.
That's so many.
This is Beatlemania. Studio techniques.
Mm-hmm.
The Beatles and their record engineers either pioneered or popularized artificial double tracking, don't know what that is, backmasking, don't know what that is, tuned feedback. That's where you hear weird feedback sounds.
Yeah.
Spliced audio loops, distortion, equalization, stereo effects, overdubbing, compression, phase shifting, and innovative microphoning.
So they just did everything.
They either created or popularized a lot of techniques in music.
Right.
Printing lyrics on their albums.
Oh.
Not touring.
Did they not tour?
And American
Ever?
FM radio. No, but they didn't do as much touring as other bands at the time. So yeah, guys, the Beatles are actually one of the most impactful bands ever. Up there with Elvis.
Yeah.
So put some respect on their names.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
Yeah. All right,
So-
that being said, this is the start of me and Claire's concept album.
Yeah.
We're gonna auto-tune a bunch of podcast episodes.
Then we're gonna go on tour
Yeah.
and recite every lyric.